Welcome back to the Beige Flag, everyone. I'm your great host, Adam Tahir, and our great co-host, Haley Hotway, is still in Italy. No response from her over the last week or so, so we do not know how is she doing, or when she's going to come back, or if she's going to ever come back.
The Beige Flag. Beige Flag.
But with that, we have a very special guest. She is an expert on dating, being able to give you advice on what's happened. She mainly uses social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram. So please check her out. And without further ado, here she is. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So the first time I came across your profile was on TikTok, and it's the video where somebody asks you to find someone and their profile is hidden. And I was really appreciative of your detective skills on how you were able to go ahead and figure out their entire profile from just the name they were able to give you.
Oh, 100%. So one of my friends had a suspicion, and girls always have this suspicion, I swear. So it's so funny. So she was like, I know that this is the girl. She had a suspicion. And I was like, okay, let's get to the bottom. Let's just figure it out because it's going to drive you insane. She's like, he has a girlfriend. I was like, how do you know that? Because girls just can go through, you can go through his entire following list and you can always pick out the exact girl that it is. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So she goes through, she's like, I know it's this girl. She's like, she's on private, but I know it's her. She's like, I saw this guy a week ago. I have this deep suspicion that he has a girlfriend now. And I was like, okay, let's get to the bottom of this. So I have this fake account. I have a lot of fake accounts, but one of my fake accounts is a guy. It's literally a guy I'm using to catfish. And I got 700 followers on the account. So it looks very legit. He posts every 6 months. It looks very legit. So I DM'd the girl on Instagram and I pretended that I saw her on a dating app. And I was like, hey, just wanted to say you're so beautiful, would love to take you out. And she replied saying, oh, I have a boyfriend. So then I'm like, who's the boyfriend? So then I'm scrolling through her pictures, looking through her likes. And then I'm like, this guy who my friend suspected is tagged, the back of his head. It's a soft launch situation, but he's tagged. I'm like, that's her boyfriend. Because at first I thought maybe they're friends. Maybe no, it's her boyfriend. So we got to the bottom of it.
So
FBI.
did your friend confront the guy?
No, she was just like, I'm not speaking to him again. And I was like, that's a great idea. Because I already knew he was horrible. So I was like, this actually is great because then you're going to shut up about this guy. Because I really never want to hear his name again. It's, those friends who drive you insane over one. And it's always the biggest loser. Every time it's big. And for months, I could have told her months ago, I'm like, this guy sucks. He's such loser energy, doesn't give you the time of day. And he's going to treat this girl like this. So I actually told her, we reframed the question. And I was like, you know what? We should feel bad for this girl. We should feel bad for this girl.
Wait, so then did your friend tell the girl or did you guys tell the girl? The other woman, you have to tell her.
No, she has no
she's
clue.
oblivious at this point.
She replied to me being like, oh, that's so weird. I'm not on a dating app. And I was like, and then I just ignored the question completely. And I was like, okay, well, he's a lucky man. I said he's a lucky man. I made it look very lucky. And she follows me on my fake account still, this girl. So it's kind of funny, but.
The stories you can see. And then.
It's crazy.
So how long was your friend dating this guy who was just
She wasn't really. It was one of these situationship situations where it's never really going anywhere. And I could have told her 6 months ago it wasn't going anywhere. But, when you keep holding on that little bit. And I was like, nothing is going to come from this. I tried telling her that 6 months ago. But sometimes people need to learn the lesson themselves. And me stalking this girl, this is me being a good friend. Because now I don't have to hear her talk about this guy. Because he's spoken for.
So
perfect.
I had this friend, and she yesterday called me and my friend, and she goes I texted this guy. She's been known this guy for over a year, and he has no interest in her whatsoever. Treats her like trash. Hasn't seen her before 10 p.m. any night.
It's you could have told them this. Sometimes people are blind. Our friends are actually blind. So sometimes you have to open their eyes and be like, look, let me just get to the bottom of this for you. Because it's literally not going anywhere. This is not going to be anything.
And then she texted us. She goes oh, I texted him to hang out tonight, but I can't. He replied, but I'm too afraid to open my phone to see if he said no. And I'm like, of course he's going to say no. It's the holidays. He probably has friends and family to go around with.
Yeah. It's so weird. It's so weird. But it's always
So
the same with, that's the thing. It's really always the same.
yeah, I was like hung up on this girl for at least a year and a half. And then I decided to move to Seattle to like get away from that place.
Oh, to get away. I was like, oh, and then you moved there to be with her. I was going to lie to your face. Like, that's a horrible, I should not move for a girl that you're not dating. But also been there, done that. So last week I wanted to move to New York. Now I'm like, actually, no, I think I'll stick around here for now. So.
Okay, so then do you want to give our listeners a background on like how you got on social media, how you got started, and what's your background on that?
So I actually got started about a year ago. I think it was probably a year ago, maybe last November. I had just gone through a breakup and I wanted to run his name through the mud. I was like, I am bored. He told me to get a hobby. So you know what? I am going to get a hobby. And my hobby was bashing him on the internet. I've since realized that is a tad immature. Like, I've since realized you can't do that to people because literally no one will ever date you. And then, like, other guys who date me will be like, oh, how did you get started on TikTok? And I was like, oh, I just was making fun of my ex-boyfriend. And they're like, I'm going to run the other way. So it started because I made a video that like kind of went a little viral, which I hid the video now because I feel like it's mean, but maybe I'll put it back one day. I don't know. You never know. But at the time I was really like a scorned woman. So I was like, I'm going to make a video making fun of him. So I made a video making fun of his outfits, and it was like, I called it like let's rate my ex-boyfriend's outfits. And I like covered his face in every picture. Like I didn't say his name. And basically, he eventually saw the video. It got back to him somehow. And I started receiving threats, like email threat being like, I'm going to sue you, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, you know what would be funny? If I made a video of the threats. Not including the part where I'm crazy. So I'll just make it look like he's insane. So I'm going to gaslight him back because that's what he did to me. And I was, like I said, scorned woman at the time. But anyway, so I made this other video that where I showed his threats and I showed him making fake accounts to contact me. And then I was like, look how crazy he is. Like, this is wild. Anyway, so I made that video. That video did twice as well as the first video. So then I just kind of like, my first name when I first joined TikTok was like, your future ex-girlfriend, because I thought it was funny. But I changed it because I was just like, I'm going to change it. It's going to seem like I'm too obsessed with boys. But, like, I am a little obsessed with boys, but, like, aren't we all? But, yeah, but, like, now me and this guy are on good terms. So I'm kind of like, I used to have nightmares of running into him on the street. So I was like, he's just going to scream at me in public. But, yeah, so instead, like, I just hid the videos because I was like, I don't care enough anymore. You know, that's how you know you're over someone. When you no longer care, you're just like, I don't have the energy to care about you. I don't have the energy to like talk about this. I don't, you know, like. Whereas like when you're upset about them, you're going off making videos. You're like, I'm not mad. I was mad. I was very mad, very upset. I made these like crazy videos, but now I'm like, I can't do that to guys. I also realized that not every kind of guy can handle that. So. Like,
handle what? You talking about them online, or you talking about your ex online?
Yeah, like you talking about them online. Like a lot of guys can't. Like my ex was like he could deal with it. Like he dished it out. He could take it. But I was recently dating this other guy who I realized I'm like, this guy is not mentally equipped to deal with. Like he's like actually an amazing, really nice guy, and I could be like an evil, evil bitch. So I was like, I actually. I didn't make any videos about him when we broke up. And like I had such good I could have run his name through the mud. And I actually abstained from doing so. And I was like, you know what? He's genuinely like the best guy ever. Like we ended things so amicably. I'm like, I'm not going to run his name through the mud. I'm going to be nice because I actually don't think he would be able to handle like if the video went viral and there's like mean comments about like, I don't think he can handle it. Cause it already happened once or twice where I was talking about him in videos and he's like, can you not talk shit about me online? Like, I think in one video, I was like, he's a 30-year-old who's hungover every single Sunday, like, growed up. And he was like, oh my God. Like, he really was upset. So I was like, okay. He's the kind of guy who, like, can't take a joke. So, but a lovely, lovely person. He's just, I don't think he could handle that, you know?
So wait, but would he, like, dish it out to you? But he couldn't just get it.
He was a lovely man. He was like a very shy, nerdy boy. He would do things to me that weren't like as aggressive in nature as like me to making a TikTok being like, I hate men.
Yeah.
But like would sort of just like do other things, like kind of stonewall me or ignore me. And then I would go crazy and I would make a video like every Sunday. We joked that every Sunday I would make a video being like, get rid of men. Like, and his friends would follow me on TikTok and be like, and send the videos to him and be like, Rack's mad at you again. And be like, what are you posting? Like, he doesn't have TikTok. He's like, what are you posting? And I'm like, nothing. He's like, you know, you could just call me. Like, we could talk about it. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I'll just rather complain. That. Like, it's more fun.
I would have just went online, right? Because you assume that when you're posting it, nobody's going to see.
Yeah. So I still think, like, I still treat TikTok as it's like a Finsta page. I still am like, no one's going to see. And I do have a rule. My one rule, which I'm very strict with myself on, is I do not post people's names or their face. Because I think it's like, you know, you have to consent to being attacked. If I want to run your name through the mud, I'm not going to run your real name through the mud, you know?
That is true. That's like honestly fair. And then sometimes, plus you could get in legal trouble later down the line if you just bring it up.
100%. And like a lot, to be honest, like I went to law school. Like a lot of these guys are lawyers, so that's also why I get threatened to be sued that often. And I'm like, haha, jokes on you. Like this one guy sent me like statute and case law. I'm like, actually, I can use. Yeah, sorry, Karen. What?
So you lawyered them back at that moment?
Yeah, I lawyered them back. I'm like, he's like, my lawyer will be contacting you tomorrow, and I'm like there was one. He was like, the police will be contacting you, and I was like, I made a video and I was like, Miami-Dade police, a girl made a TikTok complaining about me and didn't use my name or my face. Like my ex-girlfriend says I suck. What? I think they have bigger problems. Like they have bigger fish to fry. The Miami-Dade police, like they're busy doing other.
Sometimes police like, not if your car gets jacked in, so you're like assuming
I'm like, you don't even care. They tell you to grow up. Like your car gets jacked. I'm reporting my car stolen. They're like, okay, cool. Hi, my ex-girlfriend is crazy. Okay, you and every single other person in the world, like all, like what? Like all ex-girlfriends are crazy. Like being an ex-girlfriend, it does something to someone. There's a shift. You go from being sane, and then I am the most insane in my life when I'm broken up with, or like when something happens, and there's a shift, and I'll unhinged, completely unhinged. So that's when I had great content.
Okay, so what's your like cycle when you go through a breakup? How long before you go from that cycle of breaking up to like full circle to like not making content about them anymore?
Usually there's like, okay, so with this guy I was just seeing, I made some videos about him, but I honestly deleted them before he could see that I made them, and they weren't really nice. They were a little bit evil, and I realized that I don't think he'd be able to handle it. And we did have like a really nice last conversation, but I was still bitter. So I'm trying to, and he like really hated the TikTok thing in general. Like he's like, I don't like want you. So I had an interview in the Wall Street Journal, and like the reporter called me. She's like, I'd love to interview. She didn't end up publishing my part, but I told him, I was like, just, you know, like this interviewer called me, like, and he said to me, he was like, why are you, like, after the fact, I already had told him I was going to do it. After the fact, he's like, well, if you're trying to date someone, you're not talking in articles about your dating life. And I'm like, you don't want to be my boyfriend, so I'm not going to say no to the Wall Street Journal. If the Wall Street Journal called you tomorrow and was like, hey, we would love to interview you, you're going to tell me that you would say no because a girl I'm not dating would be mad.
Yeah, if the British royal family doesn't like shy away from interviews talking about their love life, why should we?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, you know what? Like, so you want me to not do the interview? And he's like, I don't want to change you. I don't want to. And I'm like, I'm a very outspoken individual. Like, I'm very outspoken. I'm very honest and very open. Like, he's just very, very shy. And I realized that I don't think I could date guys who are that shy because they can't deal. Like, he's like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
So do you think like from now on you would want to date someone who's like on social media or is a social media personality?
Mm-hmm. See, this is the issue I'm having because I tend to like, I'm very alpha energy. Like I'm very energetic. I have a lot to say. I'm always talking. Yeah. So I like in general always gone for like a more shy, nerdy type of boy. But I realized like they can't handle me. So I need to go for someone a bit more outgoing. But the issue is I don't want to date a social media guy. Like, I don't want to date a guy who posts about his life on the internet. So it's kind of a double, like, it's kind of I'm being a hypocrite, but, like, I'm not being a hypocrite because some guys are fine with it. Like, now I'm seeing another guy and he, like, doesn't care. He literally, I was making a video like raiding his room, because I do this thing where I like rate guys' bathrooms or something. And like I didn't think he'd be in it. And then I called him over and I thought he would just come on the side. And he ended up like coming into the video. And I was like, wait, can I post this? And he's like, yeah. No boy has ever allowed me to post them in a video, because they're like, then in 3 months when we break up, she's gonna start shitting on me and everyone's gonna know it's me. And I'm like, and he joined the video, like he came in, and then in the video I wasn't even, and he like gave me a kiss in the middle of the video, and it started all, and then I'm like, oh, I guess this is my new fake boyfriend. Like, I don't know what to say. So, and then the other guy's pissed, and then I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm sorry.
Wait. So were you dating seeing multiple people, and then this person came on?
No, I wasn't. I honestly only date one guy at a time, because I'm very but I just end up having a lot of fake boyfriends, like short-lived situations. So the guy I was seeing before, I saw him for like 5 months. He was like, I don't want to do long distance. I don't want to do long distance. I don't want to be in a relationship till we're living in the same city. So I hadn't moved to I was supposed to move to New York eventually, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to make all these like life sacrifices if you won't even date me. Like, this is ridiculous. So we ended up ending things. And it just ended kind of whatever. But now like we're very amicable. But yeah. And then I started seeing another guy. I randomly matched with him on a dating app, like I was crying over this boy. I think I was crying over this boy on the dating app. I was like, whoop. And I'm not someone to jump from relationship to relationship, but this guy, like randomly, we had such a great connection. He was, if the first guy, I consider the first guy a Walmart version of the second guy, if that makes sense.
Like a wish.com of the second guy.
Yeah. Like the second guy is everything that he didn't do. Like, he's more assertive. He's, like, more confident. Like, he speaks his mind. Like, the other guy would be like, oh, you know, I don't, like, oh, speak up. The other guy's like, oh, I really like you. I'm like, awesome, I like you too. Like, let's just keep like, that's how it should be. The other guy made me play guessing games, and I'm like, well, he did this, so maybe he likes me. Like, no. If you even have to question it for 1 minute, he doesn't like you. But he was a relationship guy, so, you know, like, he kind of led me on. Like, he liked having someone. But I think he may have seen the video where I'm kissing the other one. I think he's kind of mad now. So, whatever.
But you already ended the relationship. Who cares at that point, right?
Yeah, exactly. At that point, who cares? I owe you nothing, and you're the one who didn't want to date me. So, because I said to him many times, I was like, we're going to get to a point where if we're not dating, like, we're going to have to end things, because I'm getting so emotionally attached, you know?
Okay. So what do you consider, like, do you have a timeline where you're like, 6 dates, 5 to 10 dates in, and you haven't been asked to be exclusive, it's not going to work out?
So the thing is, it was different when I was younger. Like, I'm 27 now, so I'm kind of just like, I don't want to waste my time. Like, I just don't care. Like, either, like, I have this one TikTok where in it I'm like, either be my boyfriend or never speak to me again, which is like so true. It's like, be my boyfriend or like, let's not. Like, either we're going to do this or we're not. Like, there's no more. I'm not doing an in between. Like, I don't care enough. I don't have the energy for it. Like, I don't want to see multiple guys. Like, I want a boyfriend. Like, I want to fall in love. Like, and if they're the right person, like, awesome, then let's do this. Like, you're either in or you're out, you know? So now with the first guy, I said to him at the beginning, I was like, after 3 months, I'm out. Like an idiot, I stuck around because, you know, we still did things together. We treated each other like we were each other's boyfriend, girlfriend, but we weren't. It was also different because it was long distance. So, like, I saw him probably, like, every 2 or 3 weeks. Like, we went on a trip together. We did everything together. And then it was just, he was like, I'm still not dating you. I'm not doing long distance. And I was like, we are dating. We literally are doing everything that boyfriend, you, like,
just because you didn't put a label on it doesn't mean you're not dating,
like,
right?
I'm not seeing anyone. Like, and I was like, okay, I'm not seeing anyone else either. So, like, what does this mean? Like, what does this mean for us? So, anyways, I just got pissed off too many times, to be honest. And I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm too old to be doing this. Whereas, like, this new guy that I found, he's like, he told me from, like, I also do this thing where I try to scare men away from the beginning. Like, I scare away the wrong kind of guy. So I'll tell them, I'll be like, we'll be on a first date. And, like, if I really like them, like, I'll literally say, oh, I like you. Like, you're cool. And if he reacts being like, you like me? And I'm like, goodbye. Like, I don't have the energy to play chill anymore. I really don't. Like, I'm crazy. I'm open from the beginning. Like, I don't hide anything. And then it's like 6 months from now, I don't want you calling me saying, you're crazy. Like, I told you what I wanted from the beginning. Like, I ask
Yeah.
guys right away, I'm like, do you want a relationship? Because if not, like, I'm not even gonna play this game with you.
Yeah, like exactly. On the first date, I'll tell everybody I'm insane. I have like all these
Yeah.
health. I'm like, I literally have mental health issues, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm insane. And
Yeah.
I'm like, if you should be able, because like I can't go in 5 days and then you'll find out, and then you'll be like, why didn't you tell me from before?
No, 100%. So I'm just super honest and open. And like, I'll tell them from the beginning, I'm like, I want to be married by the time I'm 30. I'm like, I want kids. Like, I want to get married. Like, I don't want to play this game anymore. Like, I've dated enough at this point. And I also have this other thing where I tell people I can't do another breakup. I'm like, I also can't do another breakup. So like, if I don't think you're right for me, I'm not moving. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's,
You're cutting it off.
yeah, like I almost cutting it off prematurely, because it's like, if I don't think I'm going to marry you and I think we're going to go through we're going to date for a year and a half, and then I'm going to have this painful like 6-month breakup that I'm going to be like dying every day, I can't mentally do it. I'm like, I'm a pretty strong person. I cannot go through another gut wrenching breakup like that. I really can't.
Do you have like a promise with like a friend? Like if you're not both married by 30, you're going to marry each other?
Oh my God. I've made that pact more times than I can count. Like and then like, my one guy I made the pact with, like, he has a girlfriend, so I'm like, I need a backup. So I have the pact with, like, 3 different guys at this point. Like, I'm really, like...
You should
but
rank
it's not,
them.
they're like, yeah, when I'm 40. And I'm like, 40? I'm gonna have to, like, what? 40?
Yeah.
Like,
no,
seriously?
You should rank them, and, like, every month, you should, like, update the ranking based on who you think gets go up and down.
No, exactly. I'm like, this is insane. But yeah, so that's where we're at. Otherwise I'll marry one of my friends when I'm 40.
So how did you meet New York guy? Did he match while you were in uni?
So this first New York guy, I met him in the Hamptons over the summer. And we had just had mutual friends. So I was at the house one day, and it was funny because I left that day. And I said to my friend, and I was like, that guy doesn't know how to be single. And she's like, what does that mean? And I was like, he, from the beginning, was being so relationship. You can just tell when a guy doesn't know how to be single. I was like, I'm good at being single. I'm good at being single. I can play this game too. Two can play at this game. And that's why I'm so over it. Because I'm like, I've played every game in the book. Like, I literally know how to like weasel my way. Like, if I wanted to play someone, I could. Like, it's so easy for me. But I don't have the energy and don't have the time, to be completely honest. But I met this guy in the Hamptons. Yeah, and then we just like hit it off. And like, I love the idea of meeting someone with mutual friends or like through mutual friends, because like I don't really want to do dating apps anymore. Like, I'm kind of over it. So
everybody our age is kind of over it, right?
Yeah, I'm over it. Like, I'm so over it. Like, what, we're gonna have this talking phase, like, and this new guy who I've been speaking to, like, one thing I really liked is he just called me right away. And there's something about a phone call, especially when a guy is like sure of what he wants. And like, if he picks up the phone and calls you, oh my God, we spoke on the phone for 5 hours straight. Like, it was insane. Like, we stayed up so late talking on the phone, and like, we just had so much in common, and like, we agreed on so many things. And then I went to meet him in person, and we had like a 3-day first date.
Wait, you just stayed at his place for 3 days?
You pretty much. And then I made a TikTok in matching pajamas, and that's a TikTok where he like kisses me. And then I was like, and then I made another TikTok being like, get ready with me to be love bombed. And I was like joking with him. I was like, you know, you're love bombing me right now, right?
Well, haven't we all love bombed one person or another over a lifetime?
And you know what? What's so bad about being love bombed? It's fun, okay? Live a little, get love bombed. Like, truly, there is no more fun period in your life than the period of you being love bombed and then being like, what about our kids? What about this? And I'm like, this is so fun. Like, it's just 2 of us being crazy. Like, as long as you're like aware you're being love bombed, but it's like, I know I'm love bombing him and he's love bombing me, but like, I'm into it. Like, I'm like, I kind of love this.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who cares? Because like that first month, that intensity, you actually want that intensity in your relationship. Otherwise, it's just going to be boring at the end of the day.
Yeah, like, I truly miss being love bombed, let me tell you, because there's nothing quite like it. And I think love bombing has a really bad rap because I'm so into it, let me tell you. Like, I need to make a video after this being like, love bombing has a bad rap because, like, honestly, it's the time of my life. Like, truly the time of my life. Like, there's no bigger hit of dopamine you can get than when you're being love bombed and, like, just, like, having a fake boyfriend and, like, you guys are obsessed with each other and he's, like, so into you and you're, like, joking around. Because I always say the hallmark of a good relationship is someone that you're just having fun with. And like this guy who I met, like we're both like big jokes, like we're both like very jokey. And like the guy I was seeing before, like I made one joke to him once and he got like really mad and offended. And I realized I can't date people like that because I make very, very inappropriate jokes all day long. Like the most inappropriate jokes you've ever heard. And if they hit me back with that, I'm like, I'm in love.
Do you make jokes about them or about the situation? Because that's two different things. If they can't take banter, but then there's no fun in relationships.
That's the thing. I really need the banter is what I've realized. Like this one guy, like we were making jokes, like he kept calling me Steve Urkel. He's like, because I joke that I have a nasally voice, and he's like, okay, Steve Urkel. Like, and I'm like, you know what? I'm like, that's mean, but it's funny. I'm like, that's hilarious. I'm like, I do have a nasally voice. That's funny. I don't really care. And I'm like, I hit him back too. I'm like, okay, like you and your Scott Disick haircut. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm like, why do you have so many bathroom products? I'm like, okay, like what? Like, it's just fun.
Have you ever made someone cry about your jokes? You were just like so mean to them. You're like, oh my God, that was kind of mean.
I've 100% made a girl cry. 100%. A boy cry? Probably. Honestly, probably. But like this other guy I was seeing, I made a joke once being like, okay, pencil me in. And he's like, really? Pencil me in? I literally say that to everyone. I would say that to all my friends. Like, let me know if you can pencil me in. Like, it's a joke. It's not even a good one, okay? It's quite a horrible joke. I make it to my mother and she laughs. So I'm just like, if you can't even laugh at that, then this is too serious. Like I can't deal with you, because what is life if it's not just like making fun of ourselves all the time?
Yeah, unless then you're stuck as being a politician who like debates in Congress all day.
And like, I need to be humbled. Like, I really need someone to humble me is what I've realized. And this guy humbles me so hard. And I'm like, oh, did you really just say that to me? And then I'm like, wow, I think I needed to be humbled long ago.
So this relationship is going really well now, I assume.
Well, it's not really a relationship yet, but we're planning our New Year's already. So like, I'm excited.
It's a relationship. We just know.
Yeah, like I just know he's gonna be my boyfriend. I literally made a TikTok being like, I just know this is my future boyfriend, everyone. Like, he's not my boyfriend yet, but I'm working on it. Like, but you always know from the beginning. Like, I felt this way with every boyfriend I've ever had. Like, you know right away if they're gonna be your boyfriend.
So are you the one that like waits for them to initiate the conversation, or are you the one initiating that? Like, hey, where do you think it's going?
I'm not like most girls. No, I'm actually not like most girls, because I actually will always speak my mind and I like can't hold things back. And I'll literally say to them, like, I'm just a very upfront person though. Like, this does not work for everyone. And I actually do think like men should initiate the conversation. But I usually say from the beginning, I'm like, I want a boyfriend. Like, I'm like, I want to date you. But like, we're not going to date after, 3 dates. But like, I think it should be at least the earliest I've ever gotten into a relationship is after 10 days. And it was like over a period of 3 weeks. And that was the quickest I've ever gone into a relationship. But I also think like, if you like the person, like, who cares? Like, let them be your boyfriend. Like, it's fun.
Yeah, but isn't like 10 dates technically 2 months? Because if you see each other once a week.
Yeah, I think it depends how often you're seeing them too. Because like the one guy that I dated, we saw each other like 3 times a week for like 3 weeks, and then he was my boyfriend. But like, I don't regret jumping into things. I really don't. Like, I think it's fun. I don't think you should say I love you quickly. Like, I think there's a certain amount of time that it's appropriate to say I love you. But like, why can't I let this person call me his girlfriend and like not see anyone else and treat me with some respect and delete his dating apps? Like, that sounds lovely. It sounds like there's nothing to fight about. Whereas I was seeing this guy for 5 months and like, we were fighting about things like dating apps. Like, I was with him on a trip and I was like, oh, you have a Bumble notification. Like, you better check that. And that was like a whole fight. So it's just like, what, like, and we've thought about not being together part of the time. So like, it just becomes, and then it's like, someone's going to be mad. Someone's going to kiss someone else. Someone's going to do something they weren't supposed to do. And then you're going to be mad. Because there's no, like, the relationship is not defined, right?
I agree. But I feel like it's hard, right? Because there's different people who want different things. One also depends on like how badly their previous relationships burned them, right? Some people are just like very.
But also, I don't care. But this is the thing. I don't care. I don't care if your ex-girlfriend sucked. Like, that's not my problem. Like, why is it my problem?
It plays a thing on their mind, right? I understand. I agree with you 100%. Like, past relationships shouldn't define your future ones. But people don't understand, or people are not in tune with what happened with them, or they haven't dealt with that trauma. honestly, and then it just bothers them for a very long time.
This guy told me he wouldn't do long distance because he was long distance with his ex, and they dated for 3 years and no one ever moved. And I go, well, that's your fault. You're an idiot. Who the hell dates someone for 3 years without even once having a conversation being like, so when do you want to move? Like, what are we doing this? You know, like,
And
that's not my fault.
pen pals. You're not boyfriend,
Like,
girlfriend, you're pen pals.
Yeah, and you're pen pals. And I even, like, I have friends who, they're in long distance relationships, and they've said to the person, they're like, okay, after a year and a half, like, I want you to move here. And they've discussed who's moving, and it's like a set timeline. And they're like, okay, like, there's some flexibility, but they're like, if we don't move, like, we have to cut this off because what's the point otherwise? And I actually respect that, because it's like, if you tell them from the beginning and you're upfront and you say, like, look, I'm happy to do long distance with you for 2 years, but if it goes beyond that, like, I can't do this anymore. I think that's valid.
Do you think you could do long distance from Miami to New York? Makes sense, right? 2-3 hour flight. But what if it's Miami to Seattle or Miami to LA? I think that relationship takes a toll.
Yeah, so I'm kind of the queen of a long distance relationship because I kind of have lived everywhere. I was dating a guy who lived in London. Actually, I did long distance when I was in London for a while. Then I did long distance with a guy who lived in Bali. Like, I think if they wanted to, they would. That's why I'm like, when this guy's like, oh, I live in New York. And I'm like, I'm in New York once a month already. All my friends live in New York. I'm in New York once a month. Okay. I'm like, what are you talking about long distance? Like, I will come see you and I was like, I'm like remote. Like, I can come like live there for 2 weeks out of the month.
So do you like intentionally pick people who like live in remotes? Because then you'll be like, oh, I have somewhere to go to, or I'm like very comfortable in my own space. I don't want them coming and ruining my apartment.
I don't know, because my bubble is kind of like New York, Miami. So I would date anyone from those places. But also, if it's a situation where, like, let's say someone's like away for school, okay? Let's say they say, oh, I'm finishing medical school or I'm finishing law school. I have a year left. And then I'm going to move to the city or whatever. Like, 100% date them, because who cares? Like, they're just finishing school and then they're going to move. I think long distance works as long as there's an end game.
Yeah, like, okay. But I think before someone moves long distance, it can't start off long distance, because then you only see the good side of them. I think it should begin a few months in the same city, and then it can grow long distance.
But the thing is, also, I hate every man I meet in like every city. So I'm just like, when I meet one I like, I'm like, I don't really care if I have to get on a plane to see you. Like, for me, it's no big deal to jump on a plane. I'm like, I do not care. 2-hour flight, 3-hour flight, nothing. We can do this. Like, it's so easy. It's not even.
So how many times did you see the Bali guy then?
Well, that was a whole other story. That was during the pandemic. He was trying to get me to move to Bali, and then I was trying to get a visa to go to Bali. That's a whole other story, let me tell you. And then I told my dad I'm moving to Bali, and he said, no, you are not. You are not leaving this house. And I said, yeah, I'm moving to Bali. And he said, you are not. And I said, yes, I am. I didn't move to Bali. He ended up picking another girl. I sent him a Christmas present in the mail, and by the time my Christmas present got there, because it took so long to arrive, he already broke up with me and was seeing another girl. So I guess that didn't work out.
Did you ask for your present back?
I think I did many petty things and sent very nasty messages. I'm not proud of those things, but it is what it is.
But I think that's why then when people have trauma from previous relationships, that's why. Because humans are awful.
Yeah, no, it's true. It honestly is true. Because it's just, I don't know. But it's like, I don't care about your trauma. To be honest, I don't care. That's your problem. Like, and also I saw this TikTok where this girl was like, you know what? If someone has issues, she's like, just pick the guy with less issues. And I was like, I know that sounds mean, but honestly, pick the guy with less issues. Like, I get it. Everyone has baggage. But like, if he's like, oh, this happened, then this happened. Like, shit happens to everyone, okay? Life is hard. But like, if you're always complaining, it's like, honestly, just pick the guy with less issues. Like, who cares? That may sound bitchy.
Or it's like, pick the issues you can deal with, and don't pick the issues you can't deal with.
Yeah. Like, you know, because some people are a lot to handle, and I don't want to be anyone's mother. Like, I don't have the energy. So
no more projects, right?
No more projects. I'm done. I'm done with my projects.
So you want like a complete, chiseled out, perfect human being.
Yeah. No, but like, they don't have to be perfect, but you know what I mean? Like, they have to be okay with who they are themselves, and they have to not blame things on their ex. Like, if someone's always like, well, the reason I can't do this is because one time I got cheated on 5 years ago. what does that have to do with me? I don't care. That sounds like you problem.
Yeah, they're like, you can't go on your friends to this vacation because I have trust issues. I'm like,
yeah. I'm like, okay, that's your issue. That's not my issue. So bye-bye. You know,
so,
like it's so stupid.
So how's the dating scene in Miami? Is it as bad as people say it is?
It's pretty bad because I don't like the type of guy that Miami produces. The thing is, real Miami is different than like what you think. Because people come to Miami for a weekend, they're like, oh, all this, like beach, this, that. Like people who live here, it's very different. Like you're not going out to 11 every night and like these big clubs like when you live here, you know? So it's very different. But the thing is, like a lot of the guys, I don't like that kind of guy. Like I don't like a guy who's showy. I don't like a guy who's like I want like a real, like the thing is I like the New York guys because I like that energy, if that makes sense.
Are these like finance guys, lawyer guys?
A little bit of everything, honestly, but it's just someone who's like normal. Like no one in Miami, a lot of people in Miami are not normal. Like they're very like, oh, we're gonna hit the club and then do this and then get bottles. I'm like, dude, you're 35 years old. Go find a wife. Like stop asking me if I'm going out on a Friday night. Like literally goodbye. Like I'm tired, okay? I'm down to do like a nice dinner, get some drinks, but I'm like, I'm not going out. I don't go out like that anymore. Like maybe when I was 22, but these are like, the issue is it's like Miami is Disneyland for boys who have Peter Pan syndrome. That's what it is, okay? So they all are stuck in being 22, and I'm like, I'm old, I'm tired, my back hurts, okay? Like, I had a long day of work. I have no intention of, like, going to a club on a Friday night. Like, and, like, the most aggressive club ever. Like, it's not going to a club. It's like, okay, come to the club at 1, stay out till 4, then let's go to Space at 6 a.m. Are you insane? Are you actually insane? I just want to go to the beach on Saturday morning and go early and get a good chair.
Yeah, I would rather take brunch with my friends than be out in the club all night.
Same. And like, I'm not boring. Like, I like doing fun things, but it's just like, I'm not like, that's not the lifestyle I'm trying to attract. And like, I think it's important to try to find a guy who has a similar lifestyle. Like the guy I'm seeing now, he's like, I used to go out. He's like, I don't go out anymore. He's like, I'm 30. Like, I don't need to go to a club every Friday night to like get women. And I was like, I agree. Like, I don't want a guy who's like drinking excessively and doing all this. Like, it's embarrassing. It gets to the point where you're really embarrassing. Like, imagine you're like 30, 35 years old. You're going to get blackout with your friends every week and have like 15 drinks. Oh my God. That is
like,
shameful.
how do you even recover and go to work on Monday? Like, if you're
like I'll go out once a weekend, and by go out I mean I'll like get drinks with my friends at a bar, but I tell them I'm like, I want to be in bed at 12:30. Like, peace. Like once in a while I'll have a big night, but it's not like that. Like I don't do that anymore. So Miami's much more relaxed than people realize, I think. So yeah. Okay. It's hard to find the guy who's like that. It's hard to find the 30-year-old. The thing is, in an ideal world, I want to find the 30-year-old guy who used to be fun. And like now he's like, I'm over going out. Like I just want to go for dinner with my girlfriend and like hang out with my friends and like go to the beach.
What about like, do you ever think like maybe I should date a guy from Minnesota, like a nice family man who lives like in the Midwest?
Yeah, like I wouldn't even mind that. Like he'll be nice to me and he won't go hang out with strippers on Saturday night. Like, you know, like I'm not like that's the issue with Miami guys. Like I'm not doing that. I'm not playing that game. Like I'm an adult, you know.
So how did you meet this guy? Dating app? Friends of friends?
Yeah, I met this guy in a dating app, but we have a few mutual friends. And it's funny, we went to the same school, but he's older than me. But we went to the same school, like we just have a lot in common. He's a New York guy who moved down to Miami, which like I tend to like those better, if I'm being honest. So he's like not too Florida, like we're very similar. He's just like got it. Like he's honestly checked off most of my requirements. And I have a list of my future husband qualities, and I go through it with them.
All right, what are the main husband future qualities?
Some of them are really stupid. Like some of them are like same political views, you know, like good sense of humor, like appreciates food. Like I'm a big foodie. I'm very into eating well. So like I like someone who like, you know, we can go get food and it's like we talk about the food, or like someone who likes to cook or like stuff like that. So like just someone with some similar interests. Like I want a guy who can ski because I'm a big skier, and I once someone told me that if you don't marry a guy who skis, you never go skiing and you don't become a ski family. And I was like, well, I need to be a ski family. So I got to find one that skis. Another thing is, one of the biggest things on the list, though, it's not about money, it's not about job, but it's drive. And I think for a lot of women, the most important thing when finding a guy is like drive. Like the most attractive feature a guy can have is being, excited about something. And like he could literally be a garbage man, but if he's like the best garbage man in the world and he like loves what he does and he's motivated about it and he's like entrepreneurial, then like that's amazing. Like be a garbage man,
Yeah. UPS drivers make most Americans right now.
Yeah. No, it's true. But like, it's like, so I think it's about ambition and drive. It's not necessarily like what job they have. Like I tend to go for entrepreneurs. I really like entrepreneurs. And it's just like the personality of it I like because I respect that. And then it motivates me to want to do something. And like,
Is it because they're less clingy because they're so busy doing their own thing?
Yeah, like I like a guy who's busy. That's one of my other requirements. It's must be busy. Must be busy. They have to be busy. But they have to be busy, but then they have to be able to carve out time to see me. And like, I understand if work stuff comes up, I really do. But like, I like having concrete plans with a guy. I like being able to like have a plan and he commits to it. I don't like flaky guys. Like I like having a calendar invite. It sounds stupid, but if you are busy and you make time for someone, that's the most important thing. That's all I can ask for,
And then that also means that he's just dating you, not 15 other people at the same time.
Exactly. That's a good thing. Like he should be busy. Like he should be married to his job. Like good. Like that makes me like you even more. Like you should be working. Like go to work, have fun at work, spend all day hustling. I don't care if you don't text me during the day because you know what? You're going to go work hard to support me in the future. So it's all good. Keep working.
Do you have any advice for people on like people like, let's say people our age and like who are like trying to, and like people who are pretty jaded from dating? What do you think? Like if they've gone through a bad breakup and like they're not finding anyone, what's your best advice on like what they can do?
Honestly, the advice that comes to my head first is the most annoying advice in the world, so I'm not going to say it because they already know it. They've already heard it.
Like it's going to hit you whenever you least expect it.
Like, shut up. I would literally be the person saying, shut up. You're not going to, okay, there's so many people in this world. You are not going to be the only one who is single forever. So grow up. Also, most of the people getting married right now, by the way, 5 in 10 couples get divorced these days. So the divorce rate is up to like 60% in the US this year. So you know what? All those weddings you're going to, don't worry about it. You know what? They're going to be trying to find their second husband when you're finding your first. So just remember that you'll have a leg up on those people. That's negative, but that's funny. That brings me some peace. Yeah, just do you. Honestly, if you just do you, good things will happen. Like, I'm not trying too hard on dating apps anymore. Like, yeah, go on dates, leave the house, like, be open to stuff. But, like, if someone gives you a bad vibe, just cut it off with them. Like, who cares? You don't have to force it. Like, don't date someone unless you really like them.
Never settle, right?
Yeah, like, honestly, never settle. Like, test someone out. Sure, go on dates with them, have fun. But if you get that pit feeling in your stomach where you're like, this isn't going to work, or, like, just listen to that gut feeling. Because, like, you always know right or wrong. You always have a feeling in the back of your head. It'll feel right.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. We loved having you here.
Of course. I loved being here. Happy holidays to you too.
Yeah, happy holidays and have fun on your New Year's Eve adventure.
Thank you. I will.
All right. Take care. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.